Welcome to the Heroes of Fantasy Football podcast with your hosts, Matt High, Richie Kopech, and Joe Capozzi. Welcome to the lair. And welcome back to another episode of the Heroes of Fantasy Football podcast. I got me, Matt High, Joe Capozzi, and Richie Kopech in the house tonight, going over our wonderful Week 7 Heroes and Zeros, and also we're going to play a little bit of a game. So we're going to have a little fun. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Well, we're officially in the sale mode in Dynasty. We are 1-5. I am selling everything, and redraft's okay, so not bad.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. You have not hit the injury bug like that is ravaging my entire team so far.
What are
in
you
redraft.
talking about? I traded for J.K. Dobbins right before the season started.
In Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah,
But redraft,
that's
you
the
seem
most
to be pretty good.
important format.
We'll see.
He's mine for life. Now he's dead.
Yep, he's gone. No more. Rich,
Man,
how are you doing? I know we have a pretty important matchup between the two of us in our Dynasty League, battling for second place. So I wish everyone luck except for you this week. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Hanging in there. I'm a little upset that one of the two matchups, because we actually have two matchups against each other this week. I don't know if you noticed the other one, but in the one I lost David Montgomery and Justin Fields, so I'm a little upset about that and trying to just roll with the punches at this point. And I don't know. Hope for the best.
I think you're going to be okay. I have Josh Dobbs as my only starting quarterback this week in a super flex league. So I'm going to go out on a limb and think you're okay, but we'll see. Crazy things happen. We are a third of the way through the 2023 season. It's been fun. It's been sad. It's been aggravating, but we're here. Keep pushing. It's going to be a wild ride for the next couple of weeks. But as always, we got our quick question of the day. What is your favorite sports movie? Joe, let's go with you first.
you got to go with the number one, the GOAT of all sports movies, the Space Jam. Best soundtrack, best movie. Dare I say more? And the original, not the reboot. The original Space Jam.
That was my next question. Which one are you going? Do you know LeBron
OG.
James or MJ? Because
it's MJ all day. MJ all day.
Absolutely.
Okay,
couldn't agree more.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah. Good choice. What about you, Rich?
Well, mine's gonna be The Longest Yard. I love it. Classic movie, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, can't go wrong. They're hilarious. It's got some good meaning, good heartfelt meaningness to it as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little classic favorite of mine.
I like that one too. Burt Reynolds, always good. For me, it's gonna be Remember the Titans. One, because it's it's like one of the greatest football movies ever. It's got a really great message and it's just awesome. Like me and my wife quote that constantly. Mainly like the zero fun, sir. Like football's not fun. And I bring that into fantasy. You know, it's fantasy fun, like zero fun, sir. But it's awesome. I love that movie. And I mean, all three of these. I mean, you can't really go wrong with a sports movie, especially if it's football. So it's kind of the world we live in and we love. So I'm all here for it.
I picked the basketball movie.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, I was gonna go with the Mighty Ducks because I do love
so
the
good.
Mighty Ducks. That is such
So
a good
good.
movie. But I don't know. Adam Sandler is a great actor, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have picked what is that? Happy Gilmore. It's a golf movie.
That
That's
is
true.
good.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And we have tried to golf like that, and it has not been successful. So, if any of you golf, don't do that because you can break a club very easily. But let's dive into the news. We're going to burn through this. There's a lot to get to, but we got some fun games to play. So let's dive right in. Alrighty. So big news here. Anthony Richardson, season-ending surgery, will not return until 2024. It's unfortunate, but Gardner Minshew is now the starter for the rest of the season unless something crazy happens. More injury news because there's plenty of it. Kyron Williams, who Sean McVay said should be good, is now out multiple weeks, most likely with an ankle sprain. Zach Evans should carry the load there. They just signed a couple other people on the practice squad. Um, None of them are going to do anything for the first week, most likely, but it shouldn't be a super long term injury, but we'll have to wait and see. Justin Fields is doubtful with a right thumb dislocation. Bad news bears for the entire team. I don't expect any of them to really do too much with Tyson Bagent. We'll kind of we'll see how that goes. I mean, it was a little okay last week. They had a couple good throws, but it's a downgrade for everyone in that offense. Roshan Johnson is progressing through the concussion protocol, but is still in it. So it's kind of I don't know if he's going to play. Do you guys think he's going to play? And should we care at all? I feel like
No. Well,
Sean.
care, yes, because if you need a running back, but I don't think he's playing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of
Roshan,
right.
I don't know how far along he was before this week, but I mean, I don't think I mean, it's definitely possible he comes back. So I would lean that he plays. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't, just concussion.
Yeah. All right. So Jimmy G has a back injury. Did not practice today. Um, it looks like it's going to be Brian Hoyer. That's who took over instead of Aiden O'Connell last week, and started off with a dime to Jacoby Myers. So hopefully that continues if Jimmy G does not suit up. David Montgomery is another wonderful running back that is probably going to miss some time. He has a rib cartilage issue. Uh, Head coach says he's going to be out, quote, a little bit of time. Jameer Gibbs, on the other hand, is trending in the right direction. So him and Craig Reynolds should carry the load in Detroit, even though I don't know if you guys saw Craig Reynolds is dealing with a couple injuries as of today. So monitor that the next couple days. It might be just resting because he didn't have a big workload and all of a sudden he got thrusted into this role. But keep an eye on that. For tomorrow night's game, Trevor Lawrence had a knee sprain last week and is questionable for the game tomorrow night against the Saints. Um, I have a feeling he's going to play. I don't think he's going to sit. He just might be a little bit more hampered. So I expect the rushing to go down. Um, that should be, as far as passing, I feel like he'll be okay. So he probably won't kill you, but keep an eye on practice reports tomorrow. Ryan Tannehill has another high ankle sprain, similar to last year, but not as bad, not requiring surgery. He's not going to be placed on IR. Malik Willis came in relief and looked exactly the same as we remembered him last year. So could this be time for Will Levis? We'll have to wait and see. He'll probably be active this week as a backup, but I don't know if we really want to see that. Patriots had some limited players today. Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Juju. Doesn't really matter to me because the Patriots look pretty bad. 49ers, this is going to be a big deal for Monday. CMC has an oblique injury. Debo Samuel has a shoulder injury. They're all questionable for Monday Night Football against the Vikings, which is a good matchup, but I don't know if either of them play. I have a feeling that they will just because they want to kind of get back into winning since they lost to the Browns last week. But if CMC sits, are you guys playing Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason or both? Who would you prefer in that backfield?
Jordan Mason.
I lean Elijah Mitchell. I mean, I know Jordan Mason came out and looked good, but I'm pretty sure that Elijah has earned the work, as far as just to be the RB2 there. So I lean Elijah.
That's kind of where I lean. I would take the shot on Elijah Mitchell. I know he had a really bad game last week, but it was his first game back after injury, so they're probably easing him back in. So they didn't want to re-aggravate, especially after CMC left the game. So running backs in San Francisco just don't stay healthy for some reason. So um, Elijah Mitchell, we've seen in the past, has done very well when the starting running back has not been on the field. So hopefully that continues. Deontay Johnson was activated from IR and going into the bye last week said he will play against the Rams, but we'll see. Head coach Mike Tomlin will be the final decision maker against the Rams. Packers have signed James Robinson just for running back depth. I don't know if that really matters too much. It kind of tells me a little bit about Aaron Jones might not be fully healthy. He might have a little bit of lingering injury concern. So that could just be AJ Dillon's just not getting it done. So they need another body to hopefully step in for some of these small roles. Julio Jones is back in the NFL, signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles. Nick Sirianni said he will play in a role. He's not going to be the main pass catcher. He's going to play a couple snaps and just be depth. Leonard Fournette visited the Bills. I haven't seen any signings yet. Have either of you seen if he's signed yet? I don't believe so. So keep an eye on that. That's another one. Wherever he goes, he's a big bruising back. So
Pat Lenny.
most likely goal line type role, maybe some pass catching, but we'll see. Aaron Rodgers, apparently, I don't know if you guys caught this at all, but Aaron Rodgers is ahead of schedule and rumored to make a return this season off the Achilles tear. Maybe week 12. I saw that as thrown around. I find that just bonkers. I don't expect it. And I wouldn't, if I tore my Achilles, I definitely would not want to come back because one wrong move and you're done. That could be career ending. So I don't know if that really would make sense. But do you guys buy that at all? This magical procedure he did is now healed him. He's standing up throwing passes on the practice field.
Yeah, I mean, medicine has definitely advanced a little bit, and I mean, also he's not in a position that has to do much cutting per se, like he can be stationary, be a pocket passer. But no, week 12 is definitely too early. I would say at the very earliest, they might push it if it's like playoff berth if we win in like week 15, 16, 17, something around there. I don't know. Then maybe he comes back. But even then, I mean, I don't know. If I was the Jets organization, I would shut him down. I wouldn't even try it. I would just rinse and try to do it next year with a healthy Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything we've learned from Aaron Rodgers is he does what he wants. So if he wants to play, chances are he's going to try to push himself on the field, which we'll see if that's a mistake or not. It's still too early to tell. We got teams on bye. This is the byepocolypse. We have the Panthers, Bengals, Cowboys, Texans, Jets, and Titans currently on bye. So that's part of why waivers were very important and also very disappointing this week because there's not many players to pick up. And if you have a couple buys, it was not fun to look through and have to drop some players. I'm in that position where I have a lot of injuries and bye weeks this week. So it was really fun navigating that. And by fun, I mean terrible. And I hated every second of it. But here we are. It's fantasy football. So that wraps up the news. So now we're going to play a little game. So basically, I have 6 total players, 2 quarterbacks, 2 wide receivers, and 2 running backs. I'm going to give you guys a couple stats from this season up to this point, and you're going to guess who they are. I feel like some of these you might know right off the bat, but we're going to try it out. So don't tell me who you picked. We'll do it at the end. So the first one here, I have an 80% catch rate through the 6 weeks played with a minimum of 30 targets. I am the wide receiver 3 from week 2 till now. I'm on my 2nd team in my career. Any guesses yet?
Zay Jones. I mean,
Joe?
Calvin Ridley.
I was thinking of someone until you said second team, and now I'm just it's not a second team.
Last one. You guys
What was
should
it?
probably get this.
Mhm.
You want to start over? 80%
No,
catch
I mean,
rate.
okay.
Okay. Wide receiver 3 from week 2 to 6. 2nd team in my career. And the final one, this should get it. I play with a top 2 draft pick from the 2023 draft.
The Tyreek Hill.
Tua wasn't drafted in 2023. Give up.
Wait, what? I don't know if I'm understanding it. Oh, it's just I'm supposed to guess which wide receiver.
Yes. You guys can tap out
I
anytime.
have no idea.
Yeah, what?
Adam
Who
Thielen.
is it?
Mr.
Oh,
Thielen
wow.
is currently the wide receiver 3 and is blowing up all of these stats. It's very, very
Huh.
impressive. I know.
I should have
I
got
think.
that.
Yeah, I figured that the last one should have given up. Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, who plays with them, who's been doing well. That's all right. You guys can redeem yourselves.
I'm not good at like thinking of like names from stats off.
Yeah. All right. We'll try the next one here. This is going to be a running back. Okay. I am ranked second in yards after contact behind CMC with 352 yards. Currently ranked top 10 in PFF's elusive rating. I am number 1 in missed tackles forced. Any guesses yet?
Montgomery?
No.
Is it Damian Pierce?
No. My backup running back is a tank.
Oh, it's Etienne.
Yeah.
Etienne.
Wow.
That's impressive, though. I mean, number 1 in missed tackles forced. Like, I know he's been really good lately, but I didn't know that good. And second, I mean, he just gets it done after the catch, after the contact. So it's been very impressive. So, all right, got a quarterback here for you. I lead all NFL quarterbacks in adjusted completion percentage. I rank 3rd in NFL passer rating. If you guys got to guess,
Baker Mayfield?
No.
I don't know.
Definitely not.
His passer rate, he's number 6 right now.
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
So
I rank 3rd in yards per attempt.
Tua?
Is it CJ Stroud?
No. All right, this will give it away. My running back in 2022 led the entire NFL in touchdowns inside the 5-yard line
Proctor
in rushing. Really?
Inside
Inside the 5.
Is it Jared Goff?
Yeah, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Some of these things are. I was looking at these stats the other day, and I'm like, let me see if we can get a couple things. Because some of these were very surprising to me. So, all right, got a wide receiver here. I rank 3rd among wide receivers in yards after catch and 1st in yards after catch per reception.
Tim Patrick.
I wish. He should be on the list. All right. We're bringing back flashbacks, man. Ain't cool. He should be up here. He's amazing. I have a yards per route run of over 3 yards ahead of Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and Puka Nacua.
AJ Brown?
No. I am 2nd in receiving yards compared to my fellow 2021 NFL draft alums, only behind Jamar Chase. And he leads me by 9 yards total.
CeeDee Lamb?
No.
I'm trying to think who came out
You
in
said,
2021.
yeah.
My QB ranks 4th in passing yards in the NFL currently. And has a 9-to-1 interception ratio through 3 weeks.
Can't be Devonta Smith. It hasn't been that good.
I just threw my first interception last week.
Oh, we're talking about a quarterback?
No.
Just threw his first interception.
Yeah, the quarterback threw his first interception last week. My bad.
Oh, Nico Collins then.
Yep. That's it.
Damn.
I couldn't believe that him and Jamar Chase are only separated by 9 yards out of that class this year. It's crazy. Because I
didn't even know. I didn't even remember Nico Collins came out of that same class.
Yeah, it was him, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, he got in our rookie draft. He was taken at the 3.4.
So that's where he went mostly. So, all right, got a running back
late
here for you.
bloomer.
Yeah, you just needed a good quarterback. It's and he looks great. All right, running back. I rank in the top 5 among running backs in yards after contact per attempt and elusive rating. I rank top 6 in yards per carry with 5.5 yards per carry. I play just over 50% of the snaps on my team. Anything yet?
Zach Moss.
No. I am second on my depth
Brees
chart.
Hall? I don't know.
No. I'm second on my depth chart behind a king.
Kind of who?
Behind a what?
Behind a king.
Oh, Taji
Derek?
Spears.
Tajay Spears. King Henry. He looks really, really good. Like when he gets the ball, he's very elusive. All right, last one
Sorry
here.
with the fourth clue. We seem to be getting it off that one.
We'll see. I'll have to next time we do this in a
You
couple weeks. I'll have
think
to
we're some
make,
type of like geniuses over here. Like I do a lot of research, but I don't know all these stats off the top of my head. I'm like, oh, this pass catcher. Da, da, da.
we're in the stats cave. All right, this is the stats
Yeah,
cave.
I can look at
We're here.
stats and analyze stats. I don't have them all on top of my head.
Alrighty, I'll give you guys a little easier ones next time we do this. But
Be like,
last
he
one
wears
here.
blue. His logo is an NY.
Yeah,
Saquon.
there we go.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'll give you a couple easy ones next time. We'll see. All right, last one here. Quarterback. I was drafted around QB 11 in September during draft season. I lead the league in yards per pass attempt. Anything yet? Saw some
Tua?
gears turning.
I'm gonna guess
Four of my offensive players have sub 4.37 speed.
It's Sam Howell.
I'm the no.
Was it
I'm the
not Tua?
NFL's
What?
leading passer by almost 200 yards. And I am on the best offense in the NFL who has scored
Mahomes?
223 points.
Patrick Mahomes.
No. Joe, you got it before it was Tua.
Oh,
Yeah, you got it.
I'm like trying to think.
Spoil
Who
it for the listeners.
Oh,
That's why I kept going.
yeah.
Could spoil it.
I was like, how many teams have fast people like that?
Yeah, Raheem Mostert, Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, and Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle's the slowest one at 4.37, which is not slow at all. So,
Didn't Jeff Wilson also have sub 4.4 speed?
did he? He might have,
I
but
don't
he
know.
hasn't played, so
I
I
don't know.
didn't put him in.
Have you guys seen the video of the comparison with Tua, where he now does, since he's doing jujitsu, he knows how to fall, and his falls now compared to when he didn't do jujitsu, it's pretty cool to watch.
Really? I'll have to take a look. I know that was one of the off-season storylines where he said he was going to.
Yeah, he did it. If you guys, when you get, for all the listeners, just Google Tua jujitsu falling, and they have like a comparison of before and after. It's really cool to watch.
That's cool. I mean, he looks amazing. Like he looks like the dude. And if you drafted him late, you were very, very happy. I know
He's my
Joe. Yeah, which is weird because
Let me get
I
him.
would kill to have him. no, trade him to me. I got him. I got Kyron Williams and David Montgomery and all these injured guys I can give you, but we'll see. But yeah, he looks really good. That offense is just scary. I actually had to drop the defense going against them this week because I'm like, I'm not touching that. I'm not having someone blow up at like 40 points against me. So it's some big decisions happen with the Dolphins. They're no longer a team where like, it could be okay. It's like, okay, they're gonna just put up 30 points a game minimum and just steamroll people. They're definitely a Super Bowl contender, obviously. But how do you think they stack up against some of these other teams, like the Chiefs and Bills and stuff like that? Do you guys put them ahead?
No, I wouldn't put them ahead. I would just say that they definitely bring a new competition to the table. So yeah, it'll be more exciting to watch those in division games between the Bills and the Dolphins. So
Yeah, because I mean that division's still very, very winnable. Um,
yeah,
so before we get in, I want to give an update on the current draft order for the 2024 draft. So far, we have the Bears at projected out the first overall pick again, this time from the Panthers from that trade to get Bryce Young. Then they were also projected for pick number 2. Then we have the Broncos at 3, Cardinals at 4, Giants at 5, Patriots at 6, Vikings at 7, Titans at 8, Packers at 9, and Chargers at 10. That's a pretty different top 10 than what we expected, at least I expected. I figured like the Bears and all would be up there. Broncos probably, Cardinals, yes. A little surprising with the Patriots, a little surprising with the Giants to be that far down. But like the Vikings, the Titans, Packers, and Chargers, I did not expect to be doing that poorly. So did either of you think this would be how it is through 6 weeks of football?
No.
So,
well,
Some yes, some no. But
yeah, I think the obvious ones everyone would have guessed, but some of those other ones, like it's a little different. A lot of injuries, and Justin Jefferson being injured doesn't help the Vikings at all. But here we are. We have to navigate through that and move on. So let's dive into our heroes of the week. Joe, I'm going to let you start us off here.
so my hero is Brian Robinson. He is versing the New York Giants. New York Giants are one of the worst rushing defenses. They average giving up 147.5 yards rushing per game. So it's good news for Brian Robinson, who is the lead rusher. He's even seeing some passing work. I don't know if you guys saw last game. He got that little dump off from Sam Howell and got a touchdown off of it, which was awesome to see. So that makes me real exciting. And I think the Giants' offense is just going to struggle with Tyrod Taylor at the helm. We already saw the ball yelling at him for his time management skills. Uh, I don't think they're going to do very well. And I think that the Commanders are going to have the ball more often than not, which means if they're in the lead, they're probably going to want to run clock, which means running the ball. So Brian
How,
Robinson.
how dare you talk about Richie's newest addition to his dynasty squad like that? Oh man,
seriously,
He's no
Tyrod
PJ
can save him.
Walker, you know.
just rain on my parade. Why don't you?
He's no PJ Walker.
Okay, well,
Did he
in a
beat the
land where
49ers? I don't think so.
almost beat the
Did he
Bills.
send Warren to the Bahamas? I don't think so.
It's true. It's true. Well, carrying on then. We'll let me simmer on that for a bit. But my first hero is going to be Brock Purdy, first in Minnesota. Throwout last week, it was against the Browns. It seems they're a very formidable defense. Not really much you can do against them. They seem to really damper those fantasy weeks or fantasy performances. So, yeah, no, it's fine. This week against Minnesota, I'd imagine just a much better performance. The defense of the Minnesota Vikings is pretty good with run defense, but as far as through the air, that's kind of how you beat them. So with that, they give up the 10th most points right now to the position, and top 3 actually to wide receivers. Good combination there. Should be a good week for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that was a rough. He's going to come back and just smash. I think that's definitely a prime spot for me. It's going to be Geno Smith against the Arizona Cardinals. They're coming off a not an awful loss, but they had some mistakes against the Bengals, and they're going to want to right this ship. And what a better way to do that than to play their in division rivals, the Arizona Cardinals defense. So they're a defense that ranks bottom 5 against every position outside of tight end, which is good because they don't really have a tight end that you are going to play anyway. Um, this should really be a good matchup for them. I expect Pete Carroll to get back down to business. Geno Smith is going to be, one of these guys that's going to go down to fundamentals. I expect an increase in rushing opportunities, but that should make him more efficient. His pass catchers are stepping up. DK had a down game last week, but that was, I think, a little bit off character for him. JSN also came to show last week, had his best day as a pro. So if he's getting a little bit more involved in the offense, I think they have the pieces together to put together a good plan for this game and really stick it to the Cardinals, who have been able to kind of compete and force other teams to actually do things. Like I expected them to be kind of like a runaway team where they just let you do whatever and the game's put away by halftime. But kudos to them. They've been, making some moves and getting their players in. One thing I forgot actually just now to say at the top of the show, Kyler Murray might be coming back sooner rather than later. Won't play this week, according to head coach, but next week possibly. So keep an eye out for that. If he's on waivers, pick him up, put him on your IR slot if you have one. I just did that this afternoon, so I'm very happy. We'll see how that works. But all right, Joe, who is your next guy?
My hero number 2 is Richie's arch enemy, Puka Nacua, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's out there. He's still playing 95 to 100% of all snaps, which if you want a fantasy wide receiver, you want him out there. It's a great sign. His fewest targets is 7 that he's seen all season. I mean, that's incredible. If you look at some of these other quarterbacks, like Terry McLaurin, for example, um, he's seen 4, 6, 6, 10, 5, 11, and the lowest that Puka's seen is 7. So that's a great sign for fantasy points, especially with Kyron Williams being out. It could mean that they might lean a little more on the pass game. And Pittsburgh is one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. They are averaging giving up 245.6 yards per game. So I think Puka's going to feast. I think Cup's going to feast. I think they're both going to have pretty solid games. I minimum 10 fantasy points, which you can't complain with that in any circumstance. And if they get some TDs in there, I could see them being closer to 20. Who knows? Maybe they'll have a blow up game too.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to go through the pass game. This is gonna be a Puka and Cup game. I think he's gonna smash. So I know you don't really like him, Rich, but do you like him this week?
Just as always, yes, Puka is in your lineups. He has proven that he's a great player, a great individual. I love him. Get this nonsense out of your minds. I just like Cup more. Anyway, my hero number 2, Michael Wilson, person Seattle. So Michael Wilson, I think is just a deeper pick. Somebody I think you can look to with the buys and injuries going on. The snap count for him has increased since the start of the season. It's good as far as what I've seen from him. I think that he is slowly but surely solidifying himself as the number 2 receiver on the team. I mean, I can even see him taking over past Hollywood Brown. As you know, Hollywood Brown to me is more of a field stretcher. I feel like Michael Wilson can be more of a dependable target, but we'll see when Kyler comes into play. That being said, Seattle does give up 47 fantasy points to wide receivers on the season right now, which is the most to the position. So should be a good day for Michael Wilson. I imagine good points aplenty, as you know, Cardinals are most likely going to be trying to catch up.
Yeah, he's someone I think when Kyler comes back, this might be your buy window because he could increase slightly with Kyler depending on how that offense runs. But it's still kind of wait and see because I mean, not that he's any slouch with Josh Dobbs because he's been stepping up. He's been very impressive. So I would like that. I think he's a good player. I'd be trying to buy him.
Unless
My
Jeremy has them, then you can't buy them.
yeah, no one's for sale. No sale. All right. My final hero is going to be Jacoby Myers versus the Chicago Bears. He's currently tied for 4th among wide receivers with 4 touchdowns in red zone. So he's tied for 4th in red zone targets. Brian Hoyer is a capable replacement should Jimmy Garoppolo have to sit out with that back injury. And he already came in last week and connected with Jacoby for a touchdown. So we know he can already do it. And this offense runs through Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, it seems. Not many other players. I know Michael Mayer's starting to get a little bit more involved, but when they get close to the end zone, that they're targeting your wide receivers. So and also it's going against the Bears. Like they usually let everyone have a good game. So definitely I'd be confident in playing him as a wide receiver too. And if you got him as a flex, that's awesome. So let's turn it over to the zeros now. Joe, let's start us off with your first zero.
This one hurts because I have him in Dynasty, and it makes me a sad, sad man. Is Jahan Dotson versus the New York Giants. Um, First of all, big hate you. I hate you so much, Curtis Samuel. Why did you do this to me? What did I do to you to deserve this? Curtis Samuel is seeing all the targets, and it leaves Jahan Dotson in pretty much the blind side, doing nothing. Uh, he's not producing as everyone projected him to. He's falling almost to more of a wide receiver 3 role, which stinks because he's very talented. And now he is going against the New York Giants. He only has one touchdown this year, which is terrible. He's seen 5 targets or fewer in 4 out of 6 games. That's terrible. Um, it's just bad news all around. Hate it. Sam Howell, if you're listening, please throw it to John Dotson. I need the points. I don't know what's going on over there. Fat Baker Mayfield, as we call him sometimes, is not doing my man justice. So Curtis Samuel owners are on the moon, and us, the Dotson owners and McLaurin owners, we can start our little support group.
Yeah, it's a safe space. So come
Yeah.
check us out at YouTube. You know, you can check us out everywhere. It's a safe space. Come check us out. Alrighty, Rich, zero number one.
Zero number one on the week for me is going to be the Jordan Mason / Eli Mitchell decision that you are, deciding on right now, waiting on the news for versus against the Minnesota Vikings. Um, Really, it comes down to the fact that this game is a Monday night game. It's very late in the week. Um, CMC hasn't been exactly ruled out. Actually, we've heard that there is still a possibility where he's going to play. So to me, it's a very risky play right now to want to wait and pass up on what could just be some um serviceable points versus waiting on these guys to come to play when we don't even know which one is actually going to come into the role of taking the majority of the snaps there. Granted, I did say Eli Mitchell earlier would be the way I go, but still, this is the backfield I just want to avoid this week. Vikings are definitely more beatable through the air, as I mentioned earlier, than they are on the ground. Fifth lowest fantasy points on average on the season so far. So for me, those two running backs against this type of matchup, they're not CMC. They're more pedestrian like. So I'm getting away from this backfield this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough situation going into Monday night because I mean CMC may play and he might not, and if he plays, these guys are. I think Elijah Mitchell might still be able to play for a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to really do too much. So if you had another option, you might want to try, but you're going to have egg in your face if CMC ends up playing because you can't bench him. I don't care if he's hurt or not. Like you can't bench CMC, but we'll see. My zero is going to be Kyle Pitts against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know I said a couple weeks ago he's probably going to be never mentioned again because you're always going to sit him. But he is starting to get a little bit more play. He's coming off 2 games in a row with a pretty solid performance. He's in our league, he had just over 12 points in the past 2 weeks. And you might be thinking, hey, it's time to play him. He's safe to play now. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. This is not the second coming of his relevant time as a fantasy football tight end. It's more of a mirage to me. So both of his good performances came against very poor defenses against the tight end. So they ranked 9th and 15th against the tight end. So that you can beat up on guys that aren't good at covering you. That's pretty good. If you go to a defense that can, it's usually not a good time. So he's slightly being outsnapped even by Jonnu Smith, to everyone's chagrin. Every time you see a tight end catching the ball, you think, "Oh, wow, Kyle Pitts looks great." It's not. It's Jonnu Smith, because Arthur Smith does not like your fantasy football team, and we can't have nice things. But going back to the defense that he's going up against this week, the Bucks don't allow much to the tight end. In fact, they allow under 4 points to the tight end position, and they've played some decent ones, and it's been very bad. So I don't think this is going to be the time you want to put Pitts on your lineup and think this is the week he's going to put 3 games in a row where I'm happy. So I would definitely try to sit him. You might not be able to because bye week, but it's just temper expectations. He's not going to be the guy that he was the past 2 weeks. Where's your head at, Joe, for your next guy?
Me, Richie.
No, you.
Uh,
Your turn.
Are we talking
Number
about
2.
zeros now?
Zeros.
Oh, we've been talking about zeros. It's a long day. Chris Godwin
Hunger's
versus
keeping in.
Falcons. I'll stay in that same Tampa Bay Falcons game. Atlanta defense is one of the top 5 pass defenses in the league, which is surprising to me, especially after 228 debacle or 328 debacle. But they've only given up an average of 179.2 yards per game passing, which is pretty low. With him not already being the wide receiver 2 behind Mike Evans, I just think that he's going to kind of get locked down. Baker Mayfield's kind of going to get locked down in the passing game. I don't think it's going to be a really big performance from Chris Evans. And if you have other options, I would certainly sit him. His week could be saved by a touchdown, maybe, but I'd look for other players if you have the option.
Carrying on through then my zero number 2, Logan Thomas is who I'm going with against the Giants this week. Honestly, this game kind of throws me off. I feel like it's going to be a low scoring kind of a back and forth kind of nonsense game where it's just going to be annoying to watch. So for real, I just don't think that Thomas is going to be any much relevance this week again, similar to last week. So top it off, Giants I think are more formidable as far as against tight ends than they are really any other spots or any other positions right now. So I don't think that Washington's going to need to lean on Logan at all to beat the Giants. Hopefully they don't beat the Giants, but it's I don't think Logan Thomas is going to be a good pick this week.
Yeah, I mean his whole thing's been target volume, but if they take a step back, I mean the Giants did just limit the Bills. So say that if that's how things are, if that was just a fluky game, that's going to be part of it. My final zero is going to be the combo of Najee Harris and Jalen Warren versus the Rams. Najee has been on a downturn. Seems like every week we're waiting for Warren to take over. You always hear that. They're now currently ranked close together in projections on Fantasy Pros, and that's because everyone expects it to happen sooner. The Rams are just no cakewalk against running backs by any means, and they allow under 13 fantasy points per game to the position. So both Harris and Warren are averaging under 4 yards per carry, and everyone freaks out if anyone's under 4. That's kind of it's both of them. Warren just does a little bit more in the passing game, which elevates him slightly, but I still don't think this is going to be one of those games that they both are very relevant outside of like a fluky touchdown, which those are not very sticky stats. The Steelers offense just doesn't look anything like they did in the preseason. They were supposed to be very good. I was very excited. I was encouraged. And unfortunately, they just kind of fell to the wayside and looked like they did last year. Deontay Johnson's also coming back potentially this week. So he's going to take a little bit more targets. So the overall floor for these guys just isn't there. And I don't really see too much upside against this defense either. So I would not be very happy to play them. Again, we said it the whole show, it's byepocolypse. So they might have to be in your lineup, but just don't expect some big blow up game. I hope it happens because, hey, things happen in fantasy, but I don't expect it this week. So that wraps up our heroes and zeros. We got not too many defensive streamers this week. Got the Seahawks versus Cardinals. Seahawks defense isn't the best, but the Cardinals, they give up a couple sacks and turnovers, so should have somewhat of a safe floor for them. The Commanders at the Giants. Giants have no offensive line, so they should have plenty of sacks. Chase Young should be able to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it. Raiders versus the Bears. If it is Tyson Bagent, he's a rookie. I don't see how that's good. Max Crosby should probably get 3 sacks or more. if that might be really, really low for him this week. And the Packers versus the Broncos, just because the struggles on that offense they're still here. We kind of thought it was going to go away once Sean Payton became head coach, but sadly, it is not the case. Do you have any preference on any of those guys at all? I don't really know if there's a right order this week for the defenses.
I mean, all those seem
I
pretty
like
good.
I like the Raiders, I think, out of all of them the best, just because, I mean, I don't know what Badgen can do, but from what I saw last week, it didn't look that good. So I think Crosby can really get on him real quick, and I could see a fumble happening, even maybe a pick six, or a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So
One thing, just because I like chaos and it excites me. Do you guys remember when Nick Mullins took over for Jimmy G in San Fran that one game? No one knew who he was, and he just came out, ripped out like 3 touchdowns and like 300 yards.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun this week if that happened against the Raiders. Just saying, just because that'd be cool. But I think that's going to do it for us. Not too much else. Everyone, good luck, except for you, Rich, because I need to win. Second place is a big thing for us right now. So everyone, good
right
luck
back
with your
at you, bud.
matchups. We'll see. Oh, maybe I'll order you a pizza. And, just show up at your door for good luck. We'll see.
Yeah.
But till next week, everyone. So long. Good luck in week 7.
Later.
Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Heroes of Fantasy Football podcast. Follow us on Twitter at the Heroes FF.